So you want to know if a Christian should have a tattoo? Well, we're at a local tattoo studio. Let's go in and talk about it. Tattoos can be controversial in different circles, especially in Christian circles. Some people would say, oh no, you can't do that, you're being very rebellious. Others would say, hey, tattoos are just an artistic expression on my body. Some would say, oh no, it's a dangerous, satanic, and cultish practice. Others would simply say, you know, it's a personal expression. The bottom line isn't as much as what do people think, but what does God think about tattoos? What does the Bible say? And the answer is, not a whole lot. There's one verse that speaks directly to tattoos. It's found in Leviticus 19, verse 28, when the Bible says, do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourself. I am the Lord. You could say that God is very, very clear and says you should not have tattoos, right? Well, to understand this verse, you have to look at the text in the context of what Leviticus 19 was saying as a whole. You see, the Israelites had just escaped from Egyptian bondage and passed through the Red Sea, and God was telling them, don't take on the pagan practices of the Egyptians. When an Egyptian would die, the remaining relative, they would often cut into their body to let out what was known as the lifeblood, and this was a pagan ritual. God said, don't do that. Some would also tattoo on their bodies pictures of pagan gods, and again, the one true God said, don't you ever do that. If you want to take Leviticus 19 literally, we need to be careful because this was the Old Testament law fulfilled by Christ in the New Testament. Leviticus 19 also tells us, don't cut your hair or your beard. It says don't wear clothing with different kinds of material, things that we all do every day. Leviticus 19, the bottom line, was talking about idolatry. Don't take on the pagan practices of the Egyptians. Some of my Christian friends that are very pro-tattoo make a good argument that a Christian tattoo can be a good witness or a good conversation starter. They'll also argue if you want to be against tattoos, you should probably be against ear piercings because Leviticus 19:28 says, don't cut your body. If you are considering getting a tattoo, there are a couple things to think about. First of all, you might be considered rebellious by some. If you're going in for a job interview or meeting someone for the first time, people can be very judgmental and they may look at the outside and make a judgment on you, so it's something to think about. Secondly, you need to remember that you might be making a decision that you would later regret. I had a friend who tattooed I love Beth, and then he married Susan, which was awkward for everyone. And what looks good on you at 22 might look very saggy at 62. Just think about it. If you're 19 years old and living with mom and dad are paying the bills and you want a tattoo and mom and dad say no, there's no tattoo for you. If my kids ask, Daddy, can we get a tattoo? I'm going to tell them, I don't think so right now. When they're grown-ups, if they want to get a tattoo, I'd simply say, let's make sure it's something you want forever, in a place you want forever, in a size you want forever. I'm not going to recommend they get it, but again, it's like a haircut, a style. It's the outside. What's on the inside matters most. That's my take on tattoos.